So this is a message of separation. And God is calling a people out of Babylon. That means He's calling people out of systems of false worship. Serious business. And we can reject it, or we could do it. It's very hard to change. It's very hard to come out of one system and to acknowledge that we were in error. It was very hard for me to come out of my system. Very hard. But I had no choice, or else I would sit in Babylon. And the Bible says, "Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities." So there are going to be some consequences to these actions.
At the Second World War already, or by the time that the World War was to end, already the Jesuits were at work trying to unite all the Protestants in Europe. And that was the origin of the World Council of Churches and the ecumenical movement. What you know of the Jesuit order and what everybody knows of the Jesuit order is not the truly Jesuit order. What that means is even the Jesuits within the Jesuit order, they all are not knowing the secret society, the inner secret society.
The main aim of the Jesuits today still is the destruction of Protestantism. And Protestantism is running back to Rome in the ecumenical movement and saying, "Forgive us for what we have done in the past." Surely people will say, what are all these Jesuits doing here? So they use front organizations and another front organization and another front organization. And did we look at what happened in history and how the Jesuits worked behind the scenes to control every aspect of humanity? Yes. So a load of emotional stuff. It must be a logical message. I hope we have succeeded a little bit in that. It is a huge task. Because of what they see in the church, they want to leave the church. My advice to them is super glue and a big pot and paste it onto the posterior and find yourself a pew and fasten the seatbelt and carry on. But how deep does the rot go?
How can you stay committed to that organization if the leaders themselves, who are supposed to be the spiritual guides, are such fallen creatures?
Wouldn't it be nice if we could lay these issues aside, do what is right, leave the consequences to God? And they are designed so that people should recognize what's going on in the world out there, how they have left Jesus Christ behind. So the structure tries to keep the structure intact at the price of sacrificing the preaching of truth. But the fact of the matter is, truth cannot be compromised. This church is not. Who controls Babylon behind the scenes? The Jesuit order, working stealthily behind the scenes to further the aims of Rome. Now, it's not only that, but there are secret societies like Skull and Bones, Knights of Columbus, Opus Dei, etc., etc. I have never, ever, nor will I ever say that the church is Babylon. A whore, perhaps, not Babylon. This question is specifically addressed to me. Do you believe that we as Seventh-day Adventists should not pay our tithes to the SDA conference because of their union with the World Council of Churches? Now, there might be some in a conference who are not doing what is right in your perception, I don't even work with independent ministries that solicit tithe. I wouldn't work with them. Then we looked at the great body that they brought together in order to unite the world politically and we see spiritually as well, and that was the United Nations. And you have become a house of demons and a house of every unclean and detestable bird.